Hi, good afternoon. From Darul Aman English Language Learning and Teaching Association, Delta. I'm Hui, the Vice President of Delta Primary Schools category. Welcome to YouTube Live Delta channel. We are pleased to have you with us this afternoon in our fourth routine engagement in academic dialogue or READ 4. To begin with, I would like to invite the Deputy President of Delta, Madam Nur Hayati binti Abdullah, to deliver her speech.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. I wish everyone here today. I warmly welcome and thank all of you for being here. On behalf of Delta, I take this opportunity to extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Madam Kathleen Das and Queenie Ong Kui Lu, for their presence and sharings on today's Read 4 session for the year 2021. I understand that some of you may have heard of Delta before, but because we are a young and relatively still unknown organization, please lend me about 6 minutes of your time so that I can shed some light on our audience today who perhaps have not heard or maybe are still unfamiliar with us. Next, please, Shafi. Delta stands for Darul Aman English Language Learning and Teaching Association. As the name suggests, we represent English language educators in Kedah. The elected president is Mr. Zanurin bin Muhammad Safar, a senior assistant for co-curriculum currently teaching in SMK Sultan Badlisha in Kulim. Mr. Zanurin is very well known for his many contributions in to ESL teachers, and we in Delta are indeed lucky to have him at the helm. I am Nur Hayati Abdullah, the Deputy President and a retired SISC Plus officer, with PPD Kuala Mudayan being the last place that I was assigned to before my retirement. We have 5 vice presidents and representing 5 different levels in education. Okay, we have Madam Kooi, your MC today, who is VP for primary. We have Madam Suzihana, VP for secondary. Madam Selva Mala, VP for tertiary. Mr. Elmi Azri, who is a vice president for education management. And Mr. Ruslan, who is VP for retirees. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are retiring in the next few years, don't leave this wonderful profession altogether. Have a soft landing approach. Join Delta, because here we value all members, as we know how significant your knowledge and experience can be to help others. Next, please, Shafi. Right, our elected secretary is Madam Koo Nur Suryati, or better known previously as Teacher Koo on the social media. We have Mr. William as the assistant secretary. Madam Sharon Tati is a treasurer. Madam Sahara Abdullah is our assistant treasurer. We have 4 elected committee members who are all in charge of various bureaus. We have Madam Kogila with her Professional Development Bureau, Mr. Azham with the Publication Bureau, Madam Khalifa Mastura coordinates the R&D Bureau, and Madam Elina Tan is coordinator of the Multimedia Bureau. Next, please. Now, to ensure that Delta has good representation and to facilitate activities at district levels, we appoint district representatives for both primary and secondary levels. We have Azira Hani and Kamal for Kubang Pasu. We have Yuslina and Nurul Hakimin for Baling. For Kulim Bandar Baru, we have appointed Tachayani and Grace Lee. For Sikh, we have Siva and Muhammad Shafiq. Next, for Kota Star, we have Azuliana and Emily Shafira. For Pendang, we have Nur Hidayatul Hanim and Siti Zulaiha. We have Adiba and Wan Hasniza from Langkawi. And for Padang Terap, we have Anis Shuhada and Nur Sharida. Next, please. We also have for Kuala Mudayan, Pritiba and Shamila. Last but not least, we have Luzila and Sabjit as our internal auditors. Next, please. Now, ladies and gentlemen, As teachers, we are professionals and we are required to join a professional organization to support our professional development. Please click on the slide, Mr. Shafi. So, we would like to suggest that you join Delta and make Delta your platform to support your own lifelong learning and professional development. Next, please. Yep, continue. Yes, one more. That's it. Next slide, please. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, in Delta, we carry out sessions on sharings of best practices. We help you to innovate and showcase your innovations. Yes, please click on it, Shafiq. Yeah. And we support you to carry out action researches, publish your findings and written articles, and we give you the opportunities to present your research papers. Next, please. Yeah. Okay, therefore, it is my pleasure to inform you that we have Delta Connection, which is our quarterly online bulletin, and we are now into the 6th issue. We carried out read sessions, which stands for routine engagement in academic dialogue, like the one we are having today, and it is our 4th edition for this year. We have got Telegram groups like Dissect and Shape, where Dissect is for you to learn how to innovate in your ESL classrooms from award-winning innovation mentors, and Shape is for you to share any strategies that you feel are worth sharing with others. In the pipeline are our Delta Journal of Action Research, or DJA, and a collection of motivational stories from educators in an e-book that we call The Heat and Beat of Malaysian Educators. And we are also organizing Delta International Virtual Innovation Conference 2021 in November this year. Next, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, to really have more news about Delta and all that we're doing, please visit our website at www.deltakedah.com. Last but not least, the next slide, please. You will find these steps that you can follow in order to be our members. So before I end my speech, I would like to give you a few reminders. At the end of this read session, you will be given the links, right? For you to fill in your attendance and for you to give your feedback. Please ensure that when you key in your email address, you type it correctly. Because one of the reasons why some participants didn't get their certificates at the end of the session is because their addresses were wrongly typed. Rather than typing .com, some of our participants type .con. So that will make your certificates couldn't reach you. Okay, so if you are from outside of Kedah, you can still be a member, and that would be our Ahli Khas or special member category. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, visit our website to get all our information. Thank you for coming in and have a fruitful session, everyone. Thank you. Over to you, Queenie.
All right. Thank you, Madam Nohayati. Before the presentation begins, allow me to introduce the presenters of this read session. Delta is honored to have two senior lecturers with us this afternoon. They are Miss Queenie Ong-Kui-Lu and Miss Kathleen Dash. The first presenter, Miss Queenie Ong, received her Master of Education in TESOL from University Science Malaysia in 2004. She has 12 years teaching experience in the primary schools and 7 years in the secondary schools. Our second speaker, Miss Kathleen Dash, received her Master of Education in TESOL from University Science Malaysia in 2006. She has 6 years of experience teaching in the primary schools and 7 years in the secondary schools. Her experience covers teaching in an under-enrolled school or sekolah kurang murid, sekolah kebangsaan, and SJK Tamil schools. As for secondary schools, she served in SMK Agama Baling and SMJK Sinmin before she became a lecturer. Over these years, both of them taught pupils from year 1 right up to Form 6 because they have experience teaching MOIT. Both Miss Queenie and Miss Kathleen have been teaching in IPG Kampus Sultan Abdul Halim since 2007. They were involved in the training programs with University Pendidikan Sultan Idris and Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand. Both also received their Pensyarat Cemerlang Award, the first in 2013 for Degree 48 and the second in 2018 for Degree 52. In a while, Miss Queenie and Miss Kathleen would present the tips to be effective online ESL teachers. If you have any opinions or questions, don't hesitate to type in the chat box when the presentation is going on. For your information, 2 links will be provided towards the end of our session. The first will be the link to a feedback form, and the second will be the link to an attendance form. Without further ado, I would like to invite Miss Queenie and Miss Kathleen to begin their presentations. Miss Queenie and Miss Kathleen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Kooi, for the introduction. I'm Queenie, and I would also like to thank Puan Nur Hayati, the Deputy President of Delta, for officiating this session, and also to Encik Zainuddin, the President of Delta, for this opportunity to conduct this session. I was actually hoping to meet Encik Zainuddin here virtually. It has been a long time since we last met each other. We did our masters together. And now I'd like to introduce Kat, my partner and BFF.
Yeah.
Over to you, Kat.
Hello, everyone. Yes, thank you, Queenie. Hello, everyone. I'm Kathleen, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Right? Queenie?
Yeah. Next slide, please. Mr. William.
Okay, let me begin. Where do we come from? Before we begin, where do we actually come? I mean, where are we coming from? The next one. Yeah, we are coming from back from the future. Okay.
Hello, Madam Kathleen. Please unmute your mic.
Sorry,
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I will begin. Sorry. Okay, I'll begin.
Your microphone.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Kathleen. All right. And okay, let me start from where we are coming from, Queenie and myself. Okay, we are coming from back from the future. And so why back from the future? Well, our online teaching and learning journey had actually started in 2014 before the COVID pandemic and online teaching full scale. For us, we started actually exploring with blended learning with our students. And at that time, we had used the Edmodo of the learning management system, which was specially for education. Yeah. And our first challenge was to make Shakespeare meaningful to Gen Z, who were actually our students then. All right. And our students experienced online learning, all right, for the first time themselves, because they had never been they had never done online learning while they were in school. And we started preparing our students also for online teaching, besides learning, but online teaching. And the one thing that we impressed upon them was that they must be ready to change, all right, and change in their own teaching practice, just as us. And so embracing change is actually the start of being an effective ESL teacher, Yeah. Okay. Right. Then the next slide. Okay. Now, along the way, we had also started our online teaching, all right, and shared our online teaching in conferences and also taken part in competitions. We have also published in Edmodo blog and also book chapter. Okay, next. Right, next slide, please. Yeah, through Edmodo, all right, yeah. Through Edmodo, we were active in collaborating with other institutions from different countries. Yeah, in 2016, with the collaboration of Edmodo, we held an international online Edmodo conference, or what we call webinar in our today's term. Yeah. Okay. The next slide. Okay. Now, as for Miss Queenie, she has been the Edmodo certified trainer and ambassador since 2015. She was also one of the few translators in Edmodo. She's also a Google certified educator level 1 and has completed the activated classroom teaching on MOOC from Teachernology. And oh yes, she used to have her blog way back in 2012. All right, it was called "Never Fear, Madam is Here." Well, and today Madam is also here with us. Well, you can always call on her anytime, with this online things.
Yeah.
And actually, she has been very instrumental in my own online teaching journey. Okay, without her, I'll be lagging far behind. Yeah. Well, so do call her up. Okay. All right.
Okay, thanks, Kat. Well, we actually start. Next slide, please, Mr. William. We actually started using Edmodo since 2014. I don't know whether any of you were one of our students in IPG Sultan Abdul Halim. We have used Edmodo for learning and workshops. Although we are now using Google Classroom, I would encourage you to try out Edmodo, as they have a community of educators from all over the world whom we can learn, share, and collaborate with for online teaching. Additionally, every year they have an international conference on educational and emerging online learning. So it will be very useful to keep us updated as an effective ESL teacher. So that's the brief story about our journey and how we started on our online journey. Next slide, please.
Okay, before we move on, we need to address a very common assumption, and that is the IT expert versus the teaching expert. Some of us, the senior teachers especially, are not very comfortable with IT, yeah? And as McCrory says, all right, competence in using computers is not the same as knowing how to teach with computers. That's something we need to remember. Yeah. And online teaching, well, if you know, we already know it, we have already experienced it, that online teaching is not just about using computers and apps and apps and apps. It actually involves a lot of planning and tailoring our lessons to our specific group of pupils. Yeah. Today, we are sharing on how to create an effective and engaging online class, and not about solving technical issues. Yeah, I'm really bad at that. Well, as for this, let me vouch that I'm not really good at IT. All right, and I'm actually rather clumsy, pressing the wrong buttons, deleting my own work at times and losing it, and in short, I am a slow IT learner. Yeah, it's very frustrating, at the early stages of learning new things, but that does not define or limit me as a good teacher. Yeah. Okay, now the next slide. Okay, now the fact that we are all here right now talking about online teaching yeah, is because we want to avoid these two scenarios. Now, one scenario, you have the child, your student, all right, sleeping in front of the screen, and the other one, what do they do during online class? Learning is not there at all. They are either on their phone or computers or doing something else besides that also. Yeah. So to avoid that, all right, and what we really need in online teaching is not just the apps, it's actually a lot of planning and preparation. Yeah, good planning and preparation certainly make a great difference to our lessons. Okay.
Next slide, please. Well, there are basically 4 big tips that we're going to share today. Right? Tip number 1 is to keep your class interesting. Number 2, keep an ICT portfolio. Tip number 3, adapt current practices. And tip number 4, maintain good practices. Next slide, please. Now, tip number 1 is to keep your class interesting. Well, how? To do that, here is a little verse to help us along the way. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes. So this is the little verse that we have prepared. Can we say it together? All right. 1, 2, 3. Mysterious induction and product. Variation, games and choices. Interactive and relevant. Flip the class and let's have fun. Now, hopefully you remember this little verse, okay? And it will help you in the planning of your lessons for tip number 1. Next slide, please. Mysterious set induction. Right, click please. The first thing to do is to create a mystery package. Yes, for your lessons. Inject mystery and a sense of surprise right from the start till the end of the lesson. Have a different set induction each time you start your class. Make your pupils look forward to your class. Get them wondering what the teacher is going to do this time. As we know, mystery heightens engagement and motivation to learn. Next, click please. Now, how do we do that? Begin your lesson by getting them to recite a jazz chant, play a digital game, complete a crossword puzzle, or dance to the music played. Make it as creative as possible. I would like to say that my students for language description 1, first year students in the IPG. Now, language description course is full of rules after rules and after rules. But can we have the next slide, please? If you ask them, they vouch that they loved it. So, and this is some examples that I've done with my class for language description. A very dry course with lots of rules to remember. But I started the induction by looking at the learning outcome. Okay, so the products, we look at the products first before we start on the set induction. It will be the basis on how we plan our set induction. So as we can see here, we have created a digital game for determinists, a video and become a star for verbs, a crossword puzzle on adjectives, and create mind maps on adverbs. For the set induction for the class on determinists, I pasted a link to a digital game on the chat for them to play. It was a simple game I created using the PowerPoint. Then I provided them with the PowerPoint template to create their own digital game for production, for the assessment. So it's creatively done. It's not the usual completing the tasks in the exercises. Of course, they have to do that, but this is an addition, something new for them. So it's a 2-in-1 plan. You plan for the set induction, and also the product you want them to produce, as well as shown in the title here. And you see product equals to set induction. That means when I plan my set induction, it is based on the product that I would like to get at the end of the learning session. In other words, the product is the same as the set induction. Oh, can I move back, please? Okay. So if you look at the slide, yes, if you look at the slide here, the one on verbs, happy my students are. They are little Professor Grammars. They followed, before this, I showed a video on Professor Grammar. Then after that, they become the little Professor Grammars because they enjoyed it very much. So one thing to remember, we need to be always getting them to do their tasks. No, we need not always get them to do their tasks digitally. We can also get them to write it out and send in what they have done by taking a snapshot of their work done, as you can see in the picture on adverbs. Create mind maps. Now it can be done digitally. It can also be done manually. Right. Next step. Next slide, please. Okay. The next way that I'm going to talk about is vary the way you present the content of the lessons. Now, most pupils, especially the primary school pupils, they have a short span of attention. So plan your activities with Quizlet, Kahoot, YouTube, WordWall, Socrates, and etc. There are so many applications available. Use the free apps, okay? By varying the way you present your lessons, your pupils will not get a chance to be bored, and they will be always on their feet. Instead of just lecturing and talking to them, use these applications. I'm sure they will love it, okay? Next, please.
Okay, the fourth way is to use and include games in our lessons, right? Now, positive emotions are connected to games. In games, we have the element of challenge. Games are also performance markers. But more importantly, games commit knowledge to memory, all right? They remember better. And this element is the one that really boosts learning. Yeah. On the social and affective front, games help to address the isolation among pupils. All right. Somehow when they are playing games, they are like sort of connected. They feel connected to another person. All right. Okay. And as Clinch et al. Noted, yeah, gamification is one way to encourage social presence and affiliation among students online. Okay. Okay, next slide, please. Next, please. Okay. Another way to keep the class interesting is to give choices to students. Yeah. In the course of students' learning, we want to give a chance for students to make decisions. And why is this so? See, when we involve them, all right, they immediately become active participants. They become a part of the process of learning. Not even if they want to sit back and sort of like, okay, teacher, what you want to say, you just go ahead. I'm just going to sit here and do what I like. But the moment they are involved in making a decision, all right, they become part of the process of learning. And this automatically compels them to, activate their thinking. Yeah. The more involved students are in the learning process, the more effective learning becomes. Yeah? Okay, next slide, please.
Right. Next, make your lessons interactive during synchronous interaction. Get them to respond in the chat or Google apps like Google Docs, Google Photo, Google Slides, and Google Drive. All these platforms can be done in real time. So you can create a Jamboard for them to respond to, and all these apps can be used. Next, please. Okay, click. So this is an example of work done on Jamboard. Click, please. Next, please. Mr. William. Mr. William. Next, please. Out.
It's okay. When we look at, let's look at another one, which is brain break. Yeah. Okay. Right. For this, we can get interactive by giving students a break. Yeah. And when we give them a break, okay, we get them to stretch. Yeah. And have a scavenger hunt, and where they look for something to show to the class. Okay. Now here we must remember to give them a specific time and be sure that you follow strictly the time that you are going to, start and make, and they are supposed to come back. Yeah. So you will need to have your watch beside you, all right, or use a timer on your handphone. Yeah. So that you can keep tab of the time. Right. It is good to set the time, as you might just forget when you had actually started the break. All right. We ourselves might forget it. Okay. So another point that I would like to share is do not let them leave the virtual classroom. All right. You know what happens. You have experienced it. Sometimes they go out and they never come back. Yeah. So it will take some time for them to return. That is if they ever return. All right. Okay. I think now we can go for the next this next slide, please. Yeah, we'll go to the next one, please. Okay, as they take a break, all right, another one is where they can actually do some exercises where have exercise as in physical exercise, yeah, where we can have this, and then you can show them, okay, we will be doing like one, jumping jack, two, what do you call, shake and salute a friend, and also following the colored boxes. Those are the activities that they can do. Yeah. Okay. Queenie,
I'm back. Sorry, my line. Yeah. Thanks, Kat.
okay. All right. Next is be relevant. Okay. Now the next is to be relevant. Now here, all right, this is our seventh way. Yeah, and to be relevant, okay, is to make our lesson interesting, all right, because we can make connections for our students, right? And making connections of what they learn to their life is important because they need to know what it is, connected to their learning. But all these will become a waste if the students, all right, do not see the relevance of what they are doing to what they are learning. Yeah. When what they are learning is relevant to them, then the learning becomes meaningful. When learning becomes meaningful, that's when they leave an impact on the student. Yeah. When the relevant is there, all right, there is effective engagement and the rise of intrinsic motivation. All right, we don't need to try so hard. Once they see that it's relevant to them, they will want to remember it. It becomes automatically so much easier to what they call keep in their long-term memory. Yeah. Okay. And okay, then the next one is the next slide. All right. Okay. And this is the eighth way, all right, and final way of how we can keep the class interesting, all right. And to do that is to flip your lesson. Now, today we all know what flip lesson is, yeah. So flipping is a very useful mode, all right, that we can use to cover for our lost time, all right, during remote learning these days. So do consider using flip whenever it is possible and whenever it is suitable, all right. And it helps when we have limited number of synchronous classes. Yeah. So here we have 8 ways for tip number 1 already. Okay, we have ended with our big tip number 1, and there are 8 ways here. Yeah. Okay. All right. The next slide.
Okay.
Queenie.
Right. So I would just like to add on to the flip. Why do we recommend to have a flip? Because if the pupils have the content to be studied for class, at least they will read it, and then they will have some knowledge about it. And when we meet during the synchronous classes, we can create and have activities, interesting activities for them. Well, that is why we are recommending flip. All right, thank you. The next slide, please. Now, it's the quiz time. Can you remember the verse that we have created? Can you please type on the chat? Okay, so we have mysterious, induction, and product. So what is V? Let's see. Can anyone type on the chat? What does V stand for? V, games and choices, and then I, and relevant, and F, the class, and let's have fun. Can we get some answers from the live chat, please? What is V? Okay, Miss Kathleen, what is V?
Variation.
Good. What about I? Interactive. And F would be play. Okay. Next, please. So the little verse again is mysterious, induction, and product. So plan something mysterious for your set induction, and you can plan it together with your product that you are going to get from the students, from the pupils. Variation, vary your activities in your lesson, right? Each lesson. Games include games and gamification, yes, and choices. Let the pupils pick their choices. Interactive, yes, Ali Linda, finally we got an answer. Variation, interactive, and flip, right? Clap for Ali Linda. Get your present from Delta, okay? Then flip the class and let's have fun. Yes, Zari Zainabidin, flip the class. Yes, good one. Right, please get your gift from the Delta, okay? Right, yes, William, all over to you now.
Cannot hear. Cannot be heard.
Please click on it, William. Okay, play again. Click again.
The audio.
Can you please play it, Mr. William?
This running time. There is limited pedagogical plans for teaching English. Available of Halim from education and all others together. You and I aim information and focus on pedagogical Okay. The two videos that you saw just
Okay,
now.
well,
Okay,
I'm
one
quickly
is
showing you
yes.
an app. Yeah. Okay, we shall just. It was just an app that we used. It was a Voki app. It's a Voki app where we can create our own avatar. We will try to have it done afterwards. Wait, I shall click the link. Okay, I shall copy the link and put it on the chat so that all of you can click on it and have a look. All right. Oh, comments. I cannot do it on comments. Oh, yes. Can I add it on comments? Okay, Shafiq, are you sharing it?
Can you please share the link into our private chat so I can post it to the audience?
Okay. I can't seem to. Kat, can you please share the link? Okay. Yeah. So, okay, the link is on the chat. I hope you can just click on it and then to listen to it. Right? It's actually to give us some time for a break. Right? All right. So the slide before this. Have you all tried the Boki link? Okay, try the link that has been shared. Okay, listen to it. And then can you please respond on the chat? The link to Voki. After viewing it, can you please respond on the chat? Are you able to open the Voki link? Okay, yes, thank you, Hanarani. Yeah, the Voki link works. Thank you very much. Okay, so do have a look at the Voki link. Okay, you can use it for your pupils as well. They're always watching you on the screen. Okay, you can also get your pupils to create their own Vokis. Now, in this application, this Voki application, they can type it down, or they can also record their voices. Okay, so you can also test them on speaking and also in writing. Okay. All right, we shall continue then with the next slide. Yes, and that was actually a breakout for you. The slide before this, the breakout, is a stretch out. Okay. So now we shall continue with tip number 2. That was a breakout, stretch breakout. Maybe Mr. William, can you just play it and we just view it if you can't hear it? Yeah, just play it. Now, everyone, maybe you can just view it. Or no, skip the ad. Okay. Yes. So this is the scenario in an office, right? After working hard and all that, and then look how stressed they all are. And then we have a short break, a short exercise. Well, maybe you can follow what they are doing. Can we just stretch our arms? Yes, everyone, stretch our arms. Okay. So in other words, have a break. Do have a break in the middle of your lessons. But it should be only a very short break. It was actually a 1.5 minute. Yeah, you see how much fun they had. Then after that, it's back to work again. All right. So sorry for the technical glitch. Right, so we shall now continue with the next slide. Next slide, please. Can we have tip number 2? The next slide, please. Yes. So that was tip number 1. Now we continue with tip number 2. Right? Keep an ICT portfolio. Now, what do I mean by that? Right. A useful and instant reference for a busy teacher is a portfolio of ICT applications, according to McCrory 2006. Well, I do agree with this because it gives information to the application that can be used for different purposes and tools. So it would be a good idea that all of us have an ICT portfolio. Next, please. Next slide, please. Now, in my ICT portfolio, I have a list of ICT applications or tools to assist in teachers' presentation of the content, pupils' collaboration, real-time participation during online class, video recording, sourcing of ready-made resources. So all I need to do is to refer to my ICT portfolio when I want to plan my lesson. Okay. Next slide, please. This is how my ICT portfolio looks like. I have here under teachers presentation or used, and I list down the apps. Okay, for example, number 1, Quizlet. Quizlet. Under Quizlet, there are a variety of ways of how we can present our lesson. We have flashcards, learn, write, spell, test, match, and at the end there is Gravity, which is like something like a video game for them to play with. So students need to sign up to save their scores. So it's an interesting app. So remember the tip where I said where we said that we need to vary the exercises. Well, we can use Quizlet with the same content. It can be presented in different ways. Okay, we can start from flashcards and then continue until the test, and then Gravity, where they can get to play it. Then ways to use. I have a list. I listed down all the ways that I can use this particular app. I have a list of, I think, about 11 or 12 applications. So by referring to this portfolio, I can vary the way I present my lessons. So each day I will have a different way. And also I've listed down how it can be used for listening, speaking, reading, writing, language arts, or assessment. And one more important tip that I would like to share is the link. Okay, the link to the application, I have already copied and pasted them there. So it's easier for me instead of looking for them in the internet again. Everything is there. And at the bottom of the link, I have my username. I'm sure all of you have a lot of websites and a lot of applications, internet, and we often forget our usernames. So it would be a good idea to have the username at the bottom so that we know, oh, for Quizlet application, I will sign in using this username. And for password, you may also write it down so that you remember. But for me, I use the same password for all the applications. So that it's easier for me. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this one. Okay, section B is on collaboration of work. So over here, I have the link to, okay, these are the 2 applications that I've been using for the students to collaborate. I use Padlet and Google Photo. So for Padlet, it is a platform to collect and present your pupils' work. And we can also use it as a platform for them to comment and to rate each other's work. That would be a good platform. Google Photo is also a good place where you can get them to upload photos and videos of tasks that you have given them. Then later on, we can have a look at that. And for section C, real-time participation. Well, these are the applications that we can use for real-time participation. So we can use Google Docs. So all you need to do is to prepare maybe boxes with names on it, and then the pupils will type on the docs, give their answers on the docs. That is for real-time participation. The same goes for Google Sheets and Google Slides. All these will be a good way to get them to interact during class. Google Forms is a data collection tool. And there are a few more. Okay? I'm just sharing with you some of the applications that I have listed down for my own reference. And then next we have video recording. These are the two applications that we can use, Screencast-O-Matic and PowerPoint, to record ourselves teaching. But for Screencast-O-Matic, you can either record yourself with the picture on it and your PowerPoint, or you can also record only the PowerPoint, or you can record yourself live. So it's very interesting and it's all free. You can use the free versions. So I have the link on the right. Okay. Then resources. Yeah. The last one is resources, where I have the links to all the English resources that might be helpful, that might be able to help me in my lessons. So all I need to do is click on it to look for whatever I need. So it would be a good idea, right, to have an ICT portfolio to assist you in the planning and the preparation of your lessons. Next, please. Yeah, so this is an example of the Google Photo platform, whereby I give them an asynchronous task in the PowerPoint. So in order to make sure that they read the PowerPoint, they do the task, I get them to upload whatever task that they're supposed to do. And over here, they're supposed to take a brain break. So they took a photograph of themselves and they uploaded it into Google Photo. And actually in Google Photo, they can also give their comments. See, you can see at the bottom, they say something. So they can still collaborate also by using Google Photo. Next, please. So that was tip number 2. What was tip number 2? Keep an ICT portfolio. Now, we go on to tip number 3, adapt current practices. Next slide, please. Well, remember, even though it's online, we can still apply current practices, such as think, pair, and share, or have even class discussions. Students can be given a prompt, broken into groups, and then placed into breakout rooms. Do you know that we have breakout rooms in Google Classroom now? So you can try it out. So the most important thing is to give them a specific time to complete their tasks. Remember not to let them leave the Google Meet when they have their own mini group discussions. You know, once they leave, it's very difficult to get back, right? So leave the GM on while they have their mini group discussions. Then get them back on GM again to share their thinking in writing or reading aloud. Okay. Now these discussions, the discussions group is it can be done through Jamboard, Google Docs, Google Slides, and also WhatsApp call, right? If they have phones, for students who are older, they can do it this way. For the younger ones, maybe you can give them a link on the chat to Jamboard or Google Docs, and then they can put in their views there. Okay? So it is still relevant. We can still use current practices for online discussions and for online classes. Okay? Next, please. For show and tell, we can get our pupils to find a photo, painting, or drawing that represents a topic you're teaching. Then get them to respond to the questions given to them independently before discussing them over video as a class. Okay, so get them prepared first. This is something like flip to. Get them to prepare. Then when we meet, we get them to present. So it helps to break the ice in a virtual learning setting, yes, because they are already prepared, you know. So this would be a good idea to show and tell. It can be done online as well. Next, please. Next, we have gallery walks. Well, we used to have gallery walks, right? We have all the pupils presenting their work in each corner, every corner, and they go around. Well, online can be done. It can be done. Virtual gallery walks can also be done. So what platforms can we use? We can use Padlet. We can use Jamboard. You see, Padlet and Jamboard, they are two very interesting applications that we can use. So for gallery walks, you can get them to, okay, before that, you create your Jamboard or your Padlet, paste the link on the chat, and get your pupils to type on the chat. Or paste the link of the Jamboard on the chat. That will bring the students to the Jamboard. And from there, in the Jamboard, they have sticky notes. They can add pictures. They can add words, as you can see in the slide given here, right? So real-time participation. And also they can go from page to page and see what their friends have done. Like for example, in Jamboard, you can create pages. So each page for one person. So that person will paste whatever he has done. His friends can go there and have a sticky note and give comments. So do try it out, Jamboard. As for Padlet, as you can see here in the slides, they can attach PowerPoints, and then underneath, if you see on the left-hand side, there are comments. The pupils, the friends, they can have comments there, have peer feedback. They can rate it. They can love it. They can put their comments there. So Padlet and Jamboard can help you in virtual gallery walk. Next, please. So that was tip number 3. Continue with the next one. Maintain good practices. Next, please. Good practice 1 is to have a list of your pupils' name with you so that you can call them, and also ensure that they are attentive, as they know you can call them at any time. It is also a way to get everyone in the class to participate, including the quiet ones. You can select them manually, or as shown in the slide, where you can prepare ice cream sticks in the usual way with pupils' name on them, and then you just pick up one ice cream stick and then call out their names. Or right now we have so many types of spinning wheels, random wheels, and as shown in the slide, there are 4 or 5 apps here. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, right. So shall we have a try on the spinning wheel? Right. Now the question is, what is good practice 1? What is good practice 1? Okay, can you please click to spin, Mr. William? Kooi. Okay, Kooi, you're the selected one. So what is good practice 1? Kooi, can you please type on the chat? So this is one of the ways where we can get the pupils to interact with us. Okay, thank you. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Can we have the next slide, please, Mr. William? Right. So now we go to good practice 2. Yes. So good practice 2 is to have a routine of what to do and what not to do. For example, wait for your turn to answer. Do not talk when someone else is talking. So we want to listen to what others have to say. Create the do's and don'ts together with your pupils. Give them the ownership, okay, of the routine that they have to follow. Okay? This is to ensure discipline and maintain classroom management. Next slide, please. Mr. William. Good practice 3. Good practice 3. Mr. William, next slide. Good practice 3 is to have your lesson plan or notes beside you. This is to provide a guideline of the flow of the lesson, especially the first time you're trying out new things. Well, we are also new in online teaching, so it will be a good idea to have it beside us. Good practice 3. Next slide, please, Mr. William. Yes. Okay. So have your guidelines beside you. Don't be afraid to refer to it. It will be very good. Okay, next slide. Good practice 4. Can we have? Yes. Okay. Yeah. This is what we actually have tested the quality of the audio and all that, but things just happen. Whatever it is, this is still another good practice that we need to follow. That is to test the clarity and quality of the video or audio file you're going to use. Right? The laptop video audio connections, camera, microphones. Now, it is very important, especially for your kids.
Okay, I think I'll take over. Yeah, I think Queenie's line is not good. Well, when we look now, we are looking at good practice 5. Yeah, and if you can see that, sometimes we tell the students it is there in the chat, and they say they can't see anything. Well, this is something that we need to remind ourselves. Of course, if you're always using it, after some time they remember. Remember those who join later, they will not be able to see the posts that were earlier. Yeah. So sometimes when the student comes in late, they won't have the access to what was posted earlier. So we need to also remember that,
Yes.
when we post,
Yes, thank
that
you.
it was posted. Okay. All right, Queenie, back to you. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Kat. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm like chip small. Now you see me, now you don't. So please bear with me. I know I'm from lemongrass field. Have you heard of lemongrass field? It's a kampong. It's a padang, lemongrass field. Translate it and you will know where I'm from. Okay. Right. I think next slide, please.
Okay.
I'll pass it over to Kat then.
Yeah. Okay, now for our good practice 6, you can see that it says constant feedback for learning. And if you look at the first box, it says it would be better if slides can be posted earlier before the class starts so that students can make notes on the slide. Okay, now these are actually 2 suggestions, feedback that my students have given. Yeah, and the second one, it says, I'm not sure if this is appropriate to be stated here, but I hope the lecturers post the recording of lectures so that it'll be easier for students with unstable network to refer the recording whenever they are able to. Now, these are taken, as it is, quotation from them. Now, these were things which I, especially the first one about posting the slide earlier, I never thought that anybody would want that earlier, you see. And then sometimes when we prepare, we thought, okay, we will surprise them, we will, but actually these students, they prefer to have it earlier for some of them. And so feedback from student is actually one of the great sources of being an effective ESL teacher, all right, or any teacher. Getting feedback from our students. No matter how much we think and plan, we never really know how effective we are until we ask our students. Yeah, they are actually our best evaluators, not our superiors or somebody who comes in or share our Google Classroom or whatever. All right. They are actually better. All right. They can actually tell you the truth. They are our clients. And we need to value their feedback. And what do we mean by value their feedback? Not just getting the feedback, but more importantly, we need to respond and act on the feedback. Okay, when students know you are serious about your development and improving your own teaching, all right, they are and concerned about improving, they will be honest and they will be open to give you suggestions. Yeah. And so in this scenario, in this case, after I got this feedback this semester, so what did I do? All right. I what you call is I shared this feedback with my colleagues. All right, that this is what the students have said. Yeah? So I share with them so that my colleagues are also aware of what the students find more effective. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Next slide, please. Yeah. And here it says utilize non-verbal responses such as gestures and facial expression. Yeah. And here, this was actually a post which I had posted in 2020 October. All right, because we were all very new. And so these were some of the things I told the students, right? As we are all rather new to online classes, here are some good practices to make our interaction more effective, yeah, especially for literature circle. So number one, use more gestures, all right, especially when the whole class or group is responding. So when you have many, faces and boxes there, sometimes we don't want them to all unmute at the same time. So using gestures, and understanding and facial expression helps to, one goal we can see. Yeah. And then also when somebody is presenting, it's also good to also that they can see our response. Yeah. And then that is the feedback for the presenter. So and this helps to enhance social presence in our teaching also, because they are in a group, a social group, although it's online. And because it's online, it's very difficult sometimes. We feel so distant from people. So this is one good way to add some warmth to our online communication, yeah, for everyone. Okay, the next one, please. Okay, our next good practice number 8, it says that be personal. That means you text or you call the students up, all right, to inquire, to ask about them, to ask after them, all right, not to scold them. And as you can see, right there, absentees, failure to submit work, silence, or no participation. I rather sometimes call it as no contribution. Yeah. So when they are absent, and then when they don't submit work, well, one time, you have so many students, we can't do all this for our students. Yeah. Yes, there will be those who do not, because sometimes we don't even have those, some of them don't even have phones. Yeah. For the younger ones. Yeah. Primary school. And not only that, we have a limited time. Yeah. So we have to prioritize who to contact. For example, the absent ones, the consistently, not just one time, those who, few times do not turn in their work, not because you don't want to, but you have so many students to see to, yeah, so we have to prioritize. And also the very quiet ones. Very quiet ones, sometimes we don't know, they can actually, fit into the internet, yeah, especially, and this happens especially when you have the very active one. They are the one engaging and talking to you. Yes, teacher, this, teacher, that, and no, teacher cannot this, and is this the way, teacher? You are so involved in responding with them, we can sometimes forget, all right, the silent ones in class. So here, by calling upon the quiet ones and non-participating ones, to ask them, is there a problem? Is it because you don't understand, or you have a line problem at that time? Right now, this is very effective as we call the teacher presence. All right, it is time consuming, yes, all right, even tiring, but it's very powerful. All right, it's our personal involvement as the teacher. Right, my teacher cares enough to call. Yeah, out of so many students, it conveys a very powerful and spoken what you call meaning to them. All right, and many times we have also seen how one simple question, you just ask a student one simple question, and you sometimes find so many things there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. The next slide. Okay. The next slide is, all right, we need to enjoy, all right, and be enthusiastic about our own classes. We have planned so much and prepared so much. So do justice to yourself. Be happy about it. Enjoy your own class, and it should be shown in your face, in your voice, in your expression. Yeah. Having an online class the first thing in the morning is not very, exciting or conducive for you or even for your students. Yeah. So we need to inject and spread some excitement over our own class. And yes, enthusiasm is contagious. All right. So even through the internet line, it can be contagious. Okay. So make full use of your own enthusiasm. All right. Then the next one. Good practice 10. Oh, sorry, the numbering. All right, it should be 10. Right. Now, on August 8th, okay, it is in a slide there, you can see, just about 20 days ago, I got this text from my student. All right, it says, I think you have just archived our multicultural literature class in the Google Classroom, because the class did not appear in our homepage anymore, madam. Okay, so you can see now how clumsy I can be. Yeah. All right, and so this is the time where I find that, if I were to get all worked up, it won't work. Right? But actually, most of the time, I laugh at myself. So laughing at myself is one good way, all right, to see myself through this very new experience for me. Yeah. Okay. And actually, students are very willing to help. All right. And my students, they know me so well. They know when something is amiss, they will, text me and give me an alert. All right. And they actually understand and reassure us. They're actually a source of encouragement. Yeah. And we end up laughing together. Yeah. Okay. Right. And then next slide, please. Well, as conclusion, all right, we are coming to our coming together here is a testimony that we care enough and want to be great teachers. However, we need to remember we are not superheroes. The first picture there, you have the great superhero teacher, all right? And we cannot be a super teacher flying around with our capes, saving every student, seeing to every small thing. We can't. Yeah? Even if we were a super teacher, it is only temporal, all right? Because burnout will hit you very soon. Yeah. And when burnout happens, your students will lose a very good dedicated teacher. So we also, on the other hand, cannot be anything close to Nanny McPhee. Okay. We don't have her powers. Neither, do we have what you call the luxury of having only a few kids to cater to. Yeah. So where does that leave us? Okay. As you can see in the pictures, all right. Well, we are great teachers with great hearts to teach and educate. We can only maximize what we have within so many constraints and limitations, especially in our online teaching. Yeah, we can do our best to nurture as many students as we can. All right, and we can actually go beyond, all right, nanny fee. We are actually, all right, we keep improving on our practice and we pursue, all right, the best for our students. Yeah, our magic powers doesn't end that. We are learning power. Okay, what we have is the learning power to continue, all right, with our pursuit. Okay, and finally, next slide. Yeah, here we have every turn, every step is an uncharted territory. In closing, all right, do remember that we are in an uncharted territory. Online teaching and learning is new for everyone, not just us, for students, for everybody in the education world. Even parents, all right, it's new for them. Every step and every turn is full of uncertainties, especially pedagogically, all right, pedagogical wise. Yeah. At this point in time, all right, there is limited pedagogical, all right, guidelines for our online teaching in Malaysia. Okay, we are like a group of pioneers in this educational landscape, new landscape. We are all in this together. You and I are laying the foundation and building a stronger pedagogical understanding each time we share, all right, each time we collaborate and work together. We explore and we encounter triumphs and failures, yeah, but we do not stop learning, all right? It is our professional adventure, and together we create, a milestone in our Malaysian online teaching history, yeah? Okay, and with that, we have come to the end of our session, all right? Do take what you like here, all right, and it's doable for you. Lastly, my friend Queenie and I, all right, would like to thank you for your time, all right, and we wish you joy and perseverance in your teaching career, right? Okay. Oh, we can't hear you, Queenie.
Okay, so do enjoy your classes, have fun with them, and everything will be great. We have shared a link for you for a short feedback, only 3 questions. Okay, can you please just click on the link and complete the quiz for us? Thank you very much. And best wishes to all of you.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Queenie and Miss Kathleen, on all the tips shared. They have presented 4 good tips that I believe all ESL teachers who join us today are benefited from that. All right. So for your information, the link in the chat box is for the feedback form. Okay, and next, following that, we will share another 2 links. One is for the attendance, and another is for our Delta feedback form. For the time being, I open to the floor. Do you have any questions that you would like our presenters to answer? If you do have one, please don't hesitate to type in the chat box. Miss Queenie, just now there is one audience to ask whether you are willing to share a template of your online portfolio. Would you mind sharing a template?
Okay, the cheap small just happened again. Yeah. Yes, Miss Kooi?
There's one request from the audience. She asked whether you are willing to share the sample template on how you record your ICT portfolio. Because I can see you have a lot of links there. That can be confidential.
I'll give you the guidelines. Maybe you can start preparing your own portfolio, because I plan to do something with it, you know. So I can just give you the guidelines on how to plan it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Firstly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Or maybe I just present what I have done, and then you. Okay, I'll just present. Or can I present? Oh yes, I will share what I have done.
All right. That's great. Thank you so much. I believe all teachers have our own ways in recording and keeping our evidence.
Can you see my screen? Can you see? Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Nothing there right now. Yes.
No. Nothing.
Yes.
I thought I already shared.
Yes, is there?
Ah, yes, I see now. It's okay. So roughly it's just like this. So I have a list here, a list of applications or tools. One is for my own presentation, how I can use it for class. And then how another B is how I collect my students' work. Then C is for real-time participation, what applications I can use. You can have a screenshot here. Then video recording, applications that I can use, and sourcing ready-made resources. Okay.
So, Miss Kathleen and Miss Queenie, you are using this type of template to record.
Yeah, it's for our reference. Then the most important thing here is the link. You have the link ready and also your username. So I have here Quizlet, Kahoot, quizzes. There's a difference between Kahoot and quizzes, right? Kahoot is teacher directed, where the teacher is the one in command. Whereas quizzes, the one that the quiz that I have, the link that I gave is where I use quizzes. So over here is student directed. So the students can do it on their own. You don't have to be the teacher to monitor it. Okay. Then Socrative.com, you see we have quiz, space, race, exit ticket. There's so many interesting activities here that you can do, online activities. Then word wall and Mentimeter. I think many of you are aware of Mentimeter. Then crossword puzzle maker, word search maker, and Voki. This is the avatar that I like. And word art. Then collection of students' work. You can use Padlet, Google Photo. Then real-time participation. This. Oh yes, somebody. If I'm not mistaken, I read some comments on Padlet, right? Yes, Padlet. You can use it free. You're given, I think, 5 Padlets, 3 to 5 Padlets for free. Now, do you know that you can print it out? For Padlet, you can print it out, and it's lovely. It's like a magazine after you've printed it out. So try it out. So you can reuse, archive it, or you can archive the Padlet, print it out, archive it, and then you can create a new Padlet. Jamboard. Okay, then video recording. You can also use PowerPoint for recording, and resources here. We have movies and also live worksheets. There are lots of live worksheets which you can search for. And this portfolio is a working portfolio. I will continue to add on when I get more applications or more information. I will just add it on. Okay.
Yeah, Queenie, maybe you want to talk about the columns there with the tick, tick, tick a bit. Yeah, that's what your portfolio is made up of. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I have here, so for each app, I will just see whether it can be used for listening, for reading, writing, language arts assessment. So it's easy. So if I'm teaching the listening skills, so I may use this Quizlet. Quizlet has a recording. It will read out whatever that you've written. So you can test listening for Quizlet. So in this way, it will help me. So when I want to teach language arts, okay, I can use either Quizlet or Kahoot. It gives me information and it helps me a lot.
Yeah, and it
Any
also has
questions
that.
more on
Yeah,
my portfolio?
and to add, besides the columns to see which activities we can use for which module according to our students' books, and we also have the second last column, which is the assessment. Yeah, because now, especially now, you need to do PBD in class, right? So this one also helps to see which one can be used for assessment, and then it helps us along the way from planning stage, all right? And especially when you're doing the backward design, all right, you need to know what assessment you want to do, and then you plan accordingly. So with this portfolio, you can see very clearly which module and how assessment, which one you can use. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
I see. Thank you so much.
I hope it
It's
helps all of
really
you.
organized. It is really an organized document because I can see all the links are links that we can straight away click in
click.
and access to documents. I
Yeah.
believe teachers can save a lot of time for searching for them
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, true, very true. And remember your username, type it below. I have so many usernames like KLG, I have Ipsam, I have Pelajaran. It's always so confused. I can't remember, so I type it down there.
There's one more issue there. I can
Okay,
see that
thank
they
you.
cannot access to the quizzes that you shared.
Uh, they cannot access.
They cannot access to the quizzes.
Okay, any more questions?
I believe all the audience they
Welcome,
enjoy the
everyone.
session. Don't have any more questions. Okay, so we have come to the end of this session. It's truly an informative and interesting session. Okay, next I would like to invite Miss Queenie and Miss Kathleen to get ready for a live photography session. Mr. Shafiq, can we have the poster? I think Miss Queenie is out. We have
Again.
okay. We will wait for her to come back. For her to be
Okay.
back. Waiting for Miss Queenie. If you have any question, you can still ask.
We still don't see Queenie. She's supposed to be back.
Sometimes it takes minutes to come back.
Yeah. You know, Padang Serai isn't that far, but it seems like it's just so far.
Hello, I'm backstage.
Okay. You are back again.
I'm, can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. Okay, let's have a live photography sessions. 1, 2, smile.
Oh, she's
I'm
gone.
not sure whether they managed to get it. Wait, let me check. Let me check with the committee whether the photo is Ready? I think so.
I'm back. I'm back again.
Okay.
Hi. I'm like too small. Sorry.
Okay, there's one question. Is it possible to get the slides for this presentation? I will deal with the presenters after this session. If it is possible, we will share it, okay, in our Delta website.
Okay.
Okay, can we have another photo in case
Okay.
the committee didn't get it? All right.
Okay. All right. Hi, Fitri.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Ready,
Yeah.
1, 2, smile.
Okay. I'm back.
All right.
Quick.
Okay. So
Okay.
here we go. Okay, finally, on behalf of Delta, I would like to thank the presenters, Queenie and Kathleen, again for accepting our invitation. Also, I would like to thank all Delta committee, especially the working committee who make this session a success. We also would like to apologize on the technical issues that occurred between the presentations just now. And to all teachers who joined us this afternoon, thank you for spending your precious time. Thank you for your attention. We hope to see you again in our upcoming events. Stay safe and bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Raquel.